I am back again after a weekend getting in some family time. Not with my family though, with the Warren family, Ed and Lorraine Warren and their daughter Judy. I went and saw the Conjuring Last Rites this weekend, and I'm here to talk a little bit about what I thought about it. But as I usually do, we're going to bury the lead a little bit. We're gonna talk some numbers first. So let's discuss how they did money wise over opening day. So let me bring this up on screen here. Go a little smaller here. So here is Judy Warren here. She is a big part of this movie here. The family, of course, the story, of course, takes place. It centers around Ed and Lorraine Warren, but Judy has a big part in it. So there's an interaction that Lorraine has when she is pregnant at the beginning of the movie, and they're doing an investigation and investigating a house. She sees a demon, and it forces her into going into labor. And when Judy is born, she is not breathing. So there's a little part of the story where you're a little worried that maybe they had a stillborn situation there, which was a pretty aggressive way to start that movie. But little Judy ends up taking her first breath, and then we're well on our way. But before we do that, let's talk box office here. So box office, The Conjuring Last Rites possesses franchise best $34.5 million opening day. So franchise best money, that is good news for Warner, but they painted this movie as the last one in the franchise. Like they're going to move on from this family telling stories. They will claim they've done 1,000 cases, so there'd be plenty more subject matter for them to adapt into movies. But they definitely sold this as the last one in the franchise. So we'll see though. Sometimes money can change that. Here we go. The power of Christ still compels moviegoers. That's a cool opening line. I like that. The Conjuring Last Rites exercised an impressive $34.5 million across Friday and preview screenings in 3,802 locations. It's well ahead of the figure earned by the horror series 2018 prequel, spinoff, The Nun, $22 million, giving Last Rites the biggest opening day gross in franchise history. Let's see here. Puts New Line feature on track to surge far above its pre-weekend industry projections for a $50 million debut, beating The Nun, 53. And for series' biggest opening weekend ever. Not only will it be the biggest domestic bow for a horror movie in 2025, but the R-rated Last Rites could even rank as the 7th biggest opening weekend of the year, with a chance of edging out Thunderbolts, $74 million they made, depending on its play through Saturday. So bad news for Disney again. They just can't get a win. If a tentpole Marvel movie is losing to The Conjuring, a movie in the Conjuring series, that's not a good sign for Disney Marvel. They're in trouble. But film also gets a revenue boost from playing IMAX and premium large format auditoriums. So let's see here. Even its 4th mainline entry, the 9th including spinoffs, the Conjuring franchise has endured as a movie-going draw. I can promise. Stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, who we've talked about before. Again, return as real-life, self-professed occult investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Same director's back. Devil Made Me Do It, 2021, which that was fun also. I enjoyed that one. It wasn't as good as this. This one was much better, I thought. Let's see. There was another thing in here which I wanted to touch. So let's see. Weekend also marks another hit for Warner Brothers, which is now strung together a whopping 7 consecutive openings above 40 million. Reviews have been mediocre for Last Rites, which was surprising. I thought it was pretty good. I'll talk about my rating at the end, but let's see. Moviegoers only a little more positive, with survey firm Cinema Score pulling a franchise low B grade. So franchise low. That's surprising. I thought this was much better than a lot of the movies that I've seen before in this franchise. So let's see what else we have here. Also wanted to bring up, since we're on Warner horror movies, 3rd place this weekend goes to another Warner Bros. Horror title with Weapons. So Weapons is still hanging on. They're still making good money. That was a really good movie. Earning another 1.5 million Friday to go down just 47% from its daily total last week. So Warner's doing really good with non-superhero movies. Superman didn't do great, but Last Rites and Weapons are still making money for them. So let's before we talk about the movie, we're going to jump into this other website that we talked about when I watched the trailer. So this gave a little breakdown of the Smurl haunting and some of the stuff that we saw. we're going to see what we saw in the movie and what was documented in the case. So this one breaks it down in a very clean way, so we can quickly skip through here. So let's see. So they moved. The Smurl family moved into this house. They had some issues with the previous one, so it was kind of a rush thing. They moved in, and it was a fixer-upper. They knew that. So they had kitchen appliances catching fire, even though they were unplugged. Let's see. Jack seemed to be doing well. The Smurls eventually ran into some family trouble, couldn't make ends meet. Here we go. Here's one that I want, a difference that I noticed. So Mary, Jack's mother, suffered a heart attack. In the movie, she fell down the stairs. So they just show her leaving in an ambulance. It wasn't a heart attack in the movie. It was a fall. And then we don't see her again. Let's see. Mary and Janet claimed to have perceived voices. I guess we heard a little bit of voices throughout the movie. Nothing big though. It didn't, not as honed in as it seems like it was as part of this story here. Let's see. Ominous black masses formed and floated through the home. I thought that would be a big part of the movie. I didn't notice much of that at all. I don't think I really saw anything like that. We did get some. So the way that the haunting started was one of the daughters got she received a big mirror from her grandfather, who he picked up at the swap meet, and it had a break in it, and it was it looked creepy. It looked like it had like cherubs or something across the top, almost demonic looking. And then things start going wrong in the house. But this didn't talk about any sort of mirror that it was tied to. But that's what we get in the movie. That's how the demonic infection gets into the house. So let's see here. Black masses. We didn't see any physical interferences like it brings up down here, which is probably a good thing. Let's see here. Here we go. This is kind of where the movie starts. A light fixture fell from the ceiling, cutting one of the daughters on impact. So we did see that, and we predicted that in the last video that we made. We saw that fixture fall, and it hits the daughter who was gifted the mirror. So let's see here. Janice says she was picked up by an invisible presence dangling some 6 feet in the air. So we didn't see that so much. We did see a point where the husband was hovering above the bed. So I imagine they took some liberties with that there, and it was very effective. It was very creepy. So let's see. The neighbors reported hearing screams. Okay. Terrified, the Smurls contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren after inspecting the house. Lorraine Warren, clairvoyant with several well-known paranormal investigations in her belt, concluded that the Smurls shared their home with forced spirits. So what had happened is the family, they go and they let me get us a background here just so we have something to look at while we talk here. So the family they start having trouble, and they go to the church and ask for help, and Father Gordon ends up coming out. Father Gordon from the previous movies, and he starts digging around, and he starts seeing that there is some stuff going on, and he's throwing some holy water around, and it starts boiling, and it starts steaming up. So he knows that there is something going on in this house. So he goes to see the Warren family, and it was a kind of a common theme, and we've seen this in the previous movie too, that Ed has been having some heart trouble. So Lorraine is very hesitant to let him get back, and as he wants to, but they bring up that he's not cleared for anything like that. So Father Gordon eventually leaves, and he goes to talk to the cardinal. He wants to see if he can get somebody to come out and help, even though the Warrens can't. So during this time, Ed is actually cleared by the doctor. He's given a clean bill of health, and Lorraine is still hesitant to let him participate. So they stay out of this one. But during this time, Father Gordon is waiting to meet with the cardinal to see if they can escalate this within the church. And something takes over a cleaning device in the building he's waiting in, and the cord wraps around his neck, and it drops him off, and it kills him. So we lose Father Gordon, who's been a staple in these movies, and a really good character. That was a tough one to lose. But Judy Warren hears about this, and then Judy Warren eventually goes down to look into this, and she's at the house when her boyfriend, who has been trying to get the favor of Ed Warren the whole movie, and not doing very well, by the way. He goes to get Ed and Lorraine, and they go down to the house, and they're there to pull Judy out. Judy, I'll tell you what, I had to look her up when I left the movie. She looked just like the Deschanel sisters, Zoe and Emily. She looked just like them. She had the same bangs as Zoe Deschanel has, and so I thought maybe she was like a little sister if there's something she wasn't. I think her name was Mia Tomlinson. So, but she did a very good job, and she looks just like those girls. But so they go there, and they are going to try and get her out of the house. And eventually, Judy said, "Hey, we got to help these people. They're not doing well here. There's something wrong," because Judy has been having issues. She's been seeing things. So Judy, because of that interaction that her mother had with that demon when she was pregnant, something has been passed on to Judy Warren, and it's starting to manifest. She's starting to see things. One of those things is Annabelle. She starts seeing Annabelle more. There's actually a really cool part which explains the Annabelle popcorn bucket, that we have an Annabelle doll show up, and it starts growing, and it's chasing Judy, and she's hallucinating. So that was a pretty cool effect. I liked that. I was wondering how she would be incorporated in this, but so eventually she talks Ed and Lorraine into staying. So then they do their thing. They kind of move into the house there. They're staying there. There's a part where Ed is cooking a meal for the family, and Judy's boyfriend is there, and they're talking. He's like, well, hey, is this part of the process for help for getting rid of these demons? He's like, no. He's like, you got to make these people feel comfortable. So he's trying to give them a taste of normalcy, cooking them a meal. And they start investigating. They start looking into things, and they eventually start to see what's going on. The demon starts manifesting a little more. They figure out that there is 4 different entities in this house, which we saw in the article we read. We saw that there was 4. We read about that, so that was accurate. That did come across in this movie. So they didn't dig into the specifics like the article did, but it did say that there were multiple entities there, and they and one of them was kind of pulling the strings on the others. So they eventually get to a point where they're able to start to extinguish these demons, and Judy is a big part of this process. So one moment here. Okay, I am back. Sorry, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I almost had a choking fit there and had to hop off for a second to get a drink. But so anyway, back to how our movie ends. So we get to the end of the movie where Ed is beginning to do his exorcism rituals, and Lorraine is trying to harness keep these demons sort of under control while Ed is doing his exorcism routine, and they're not having much success. So eventually they decide they need to get that mirror out of the house. So Ed and Judy's now fiance are trying to remove the mirror, and the fiance eventually is like, hey, is this thing getting heavier as we're moving it out? And Ed's like, yeah, that's totally normal. So they've covered it, and the cover starts coming off, and they're having trouble getting it down from the attic, which is where it was located at. So they get to a point where they fall down the attic stairs. Ed does, and he's unable to get up and really move. And we have a problem. That a demon comes out of that mirror, and it actually takes over Judy. So Judy is possessed at this point, and Ed and Lorraine are kind of working with her, talking to her, walking her through overpowering it, which she is unable to do at the time being. She eventually wraps a cord around her neck and jumps off of the stairwell. So she is hanging, and Ed and Judy's fiance have to get over there and eventually they're able to cut her down. And once she's on the ground, she is able to overpower that demon, and they are able to continue the exorcism ritual. And once Judy, Ed, and Lorraine are all in contact with the mirror, they're able to shatter it, which ends our haunting here. So they're able to overcome these demons and seal them away. And we then move on. The family's happy, and we get a wedding. We get the wedding of Judy and her boyfriend, fiance, now husband. And Ed is kind of showing him around the house after the ceremony. He takes him down to the artifact room, and he ends up throwing him the keys to it. So they could be passing the torch here. We'll see. I know those two are still. I guess after Ed and Lorraine got out of the investigation game, those two kind of took over. I haven't heard much about them. Not like I did about their parents, but I'm sure there could be movies made about them, or they could go back to the well and do an older Ed and Lorraine Warren story and just kind of pretend it's before this one, before they retired, because biggest opening weekend. money will do that. Money will bring you back. So we'll see what happens from there. But like I said, I really liked this one. I thought it was great. Um, if I was to give this one a rating of 1 to 10, I'd probably say it was a 6, which is I feel like I have to explain this every time I do one. A 6 sounds like it's a bad rating, but that's actually very good for me. I was very impressed by this movie, probably one of my favorite in the series, and I'll be a little disappointed if we don't get another one. I'd even be open to seeing one where Judy and her husband have a story that they get followed on. So, but we'll leave that there. We'll see what we get from this family in the future. I definitely recommend this one. It was fun. Horror has been good this year. Weapons, this one. It's been a good year for horror movies. We'll see what we get. We're not even to Halloween yet, so we're going to get some more coming out. We'll talk about those too. We'll see you on the next one.